In this lesson, we'll go through the steps for adding Mailbox database copies to DAG members. So once again, I'm logged onto my Mailbox server SID EX3 with the Exchange Management Console open. And there's the DAG that we created in the previous lessons. So now let's go to the Database Management tab and have a look at our existing Mailbox databases. So you may recall that these databases were created back when this Mailbox server was just a standalone Mailbox server, when it was not a member of a DAG. If you select one of the Mailbox databases, you can see that there is only one database copy, which is the one on the local server SID EX3. So just by right-clicking on the database, I've got this option now to add Mailbox database copy. If you don't see that option, even though you have already added your server to the database availability group, you may just need to refresh your view for that option to appear. The Add Mailbox Database Copy wizard will tell us which servers already have a copy of this database. In this case, it is only SID EX3 so far. And we can browse to another available Mailbox server within the DAG and add that one as well. You notice here there's an option called Activation Preference Number, and that increments automatically from 1 to 2 to 3 as you add additional Mailbox database copies. That activation preference number is one of the factors that is taken into account when the primary active manager on the database availability group is making a decision about which copy of a Mailbox database to mount when there is more than one copy available. Now, it doesn't definitively define which order they will mount in. It just assists that best copy selection process through one of its steps of working out which one the best copy is. But in a general sense, you should set your activation preference numbers to basically be in the order in which you would prefer the Mailbox database copies be considered active, passive, and so on, because there are some maintenance scripts that can be used to redistribute Mailbox databases across DAG members based on that activation preference. So after you've done some patching maintenance, for example, all of your databases may be located on different Mailbox servers than where you actually intend them to be, and you can run that redistribution script to push them all back to be active on their most preferred node. So I'm adding in SID EX4 as a database copy for Mailbox database 1. We'll just take a quick look at SID EX4 before we go any further. You can see here in Windows Explorer, I've already configured all these drives. It is very important that the same drive letters and paths that are configured for the Mailbox database on the server where it currently resides are also valid paths on the servers where you're planning to add the Mailbox database copies. So on the existing server SID EX3, if the database is stored on E drive, then there needs to be an E drive available also on SID EX4 where we're going to add that copy. At the moment, that E drive is there and the folder is empty. So I'll just go ahead and click on Add. And we can see the server is working away there. Let's have a look back on SID EX4. You can see now it's created this folder for Mailbox database 1. And there's this folder here for the temporary location of the file while it is being seeded from SID EX3 to SID EX4. And similarly over here on the G drive where the logs are stored, we can see that those log files are also being copied across and starting to appear. So back to SID EX3, and the wizard is now completed, is finished adding the Mailbox database copy to SID EX4. Now we get this view here where the additional Mailbox database copy is visible on SID EX4. This is active flag is set to false. It can only be set to true on one server at a time. The status says resynchronizing, so it's currently mounted on SID EX3 and resynchronizing on SID EX4. You may need to be patient and refresh the view a few times, and eventually that status should change to healthy. Now there's some additional stats here that are interesting. The copy queue length is the number of transaction log files that have yet to be copied from the active node to the passive nodes. And the replay queue length is the number of transaction log files that have been copied to the passive nodes but have yet to be replayed into the database copy on that server. What we should see as I refresh this is that replay queue length decreasing. It's already dropped all the way back down to 0. So that's already dropped all the way back down to 0. Copy status is healthy. So that task is basically now complete, and I can go ahead and repeat the same process for Mailbox Database 2. And once again, just be a little bit patient, refresh the view. Mailbox Database 2 is currently mounted on CDX3 as well. And the copy on CDX4 is healthy. So now we have a database availability group with 2 members, and within that DAG we have 2 Mailbox databases, each of which has a copy on each of the member servers. So in the next video we'll take a look at how that provides high availability for those Mailbox databases.